Glad to have you back. If you just joined us, this is Daybreak Africa coming to you live from Kaftan Television Studio here in the nation's capital, Abuja. Now, despite the religious, traditional, cultural, and societal challenges that has made it quite difficult to thrive and survive as a successful woman, contending with social bias and patriarchal perceptions to bearing the brunt of a failed system, yet she comes out with a broken smile. For every woman who have against all odds realized their strength and fought for their rights, leaving footprints in the fields of technology, politics, international relations and diplomacy, agriculture, medicine, journalism, arts and culture, literature, security, even at the home front, just to mention a few. Now we celebrate every silent struggle, just as this year's International Women's Day colors are purple, which signifies justice and dignity, green, which symbolizes hope, and white, which of course represents purity, with the theme achieving an equal future in a COVID-19 world. Now, to commemorate the International Women's Day 2021, we have a beautiful and intelligent woman and a gender advocate, Miss Irene Ogba. She joins us here in the studio. Very many thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
Happy Women's Day to you. Happy International Women's Day.
Same to you. I don't know if I'll say same to you.
You know, you shouldn't say.
Okay, but you're he for she. Okay.
All right. Now, it was just recently that some of us realized that Modern Sunday or Mother's Day is different from the International Women's Day, and then I wonder what exactly. For you? What's the difference between these days?
Okay, the International Women's Day actually is different from Modern Sunday. Is from different churches. The Anglican Communion have theirs, the Catholic Church. It's also a day to celebrate women. But the International Women's Day started in 1917 on March 8th, when some European women went out to demonstrate against gender pay gap, against discrimination in workplaces and different kinds of things. So after that demonstration, the International Women's Day started from there. So it's a global one, and it's actually it's headed by the United Nations, So, but the Modern Sunday are all different. Like the Anglican Church will have theirs, and then celebrate the Catholic Church and different kinds of churches.
Okay, so
but it's one thing, they're celebrating us and commemorating activities that heralded to such events, and then the issues women go through.
Okay, now for you particularly, what's the significance of these days, even though we know that every day is not enough to celebrate every woman, wife or daughter? So for you personally, what does this day signify for you?
I believe every day women should be celebrated. I'm sorry, if I have to sound that way, but I'm not being biased. But of course not. Thank you very much. But again, I believe that the significance of these days, bringing out one day, means that we are able to highlight the issues. We're able to bring it to fore, and then also to look back on progress. How far have we gone from last year, March 8th, year 2020 to now? What are the progress? What are the indicators? Are there progresses at all? Have we retrogressed? And so on. So this day actually makes us more aware. And then like today, lots and lots of activities, both Zoom and physical meetings and all. So it just tries to make the world stand still for this day and say, okay, these women, let's look through what they have, what are the issues, let's bring it to the fore again, and then push.
I think it's quite interesting, especially since we have I think quite a number of Mother's Day in a year. We have more than one, and then we now have this special day celebrating them. It is good. We are not jealous.
Okay.
It shows that we are making in progress where gender equality is concerned. Does this reflect that in any way?
Well, okay, I would agree with you, because let me agree with you to some extent that women are being celebrated. But again, it's not all, uhuru, because we are still far from where we should be. I know we are not where we used to be, but we are still far from where we should be when it comes to the issues of women. Okay, look at, for instance, the pandemic now. This year's team says choose to challenge, you know, in the face of COVID-19. Now, let's look at it. Most women are frontline workers, you know, when it comes to the health sector.
Exactly.
You have more women nurses and so on. But again, have you realized that the recent survey, you know, shows that women are earning 11% less than their male counterparts on the same level, and they are more in this front line. So women are more prone to get the disease because they are more exposed. Okay, let's look at home. When the lockdown happened, women suffered more gender-based violence. You know, in Europe, they had to start checking in women into hotels just to keep their sanity. It's unfortunate that here we don't really have such facility. But of course, there were reports of, you know, women rape, you know, father-daughters rape, and so on. You know, a spousal or husband-to-wife beating, and then being pushed out of the home and things like that. It's unfortunate. And of course, what of the health, taking care of the family during the lockdown? Of course, the burden, you know, unpaid care, lies on the woman. So whether you are doing online work or not, there are certain things you are the one taking care of. Okay, even when the children were at home, you say online school, and I keep saying it, when they say online school, the man will agree with you. It's going to be online, I know. But of course, he has in his mind, my wife will sort that out, whether she's busy or not. You know, so these are all the things we're looking at in the face of the pandemic. Yes, we choose to challenge certain things, and like I wrote this morning, I also choose to celebrate certain things. You know, it's true that we are far from where we should be, but I celebrate the struggle. I celebrate the consistency of women who are out there pushing for, you know, change, pushing for equality, pushing for increase in you know, elimination of gender pay gap and things like that. I celebrate them.
Okay, now talking about pushing for equality in gender-based in pay, exactly. Now, what exactly has been done to ensure that this push is gotten? Because you find out that just like you complained, a lot of women are complaining the same thing, that there's no equality when it comes to incomes or salaries or remunerations that the women and the men get. So what exactly has been done, or are we doing to ensure equality in that aspect?
You see, all these problems cannot be taken in isolation. It stems from the society we are in. It stems from the cultural belief, where you say, okay, because the man is the head of the family, so he should earn more. You know, but we all graduated together from a school of health sciences and came to work together. When we're paying school fees, nobody said because you're a woman, pay less school fees. We paid same school fees and did all same when for you service. So it all stems from cultural belief. So it's not something you take in isolation and say, okay, I know, yes, International Labour Organization and women groups are fighting for it, but if you look at it holistically, we need to break down the system of patriarchy. That system that tends to favor a guy or a man or a boy, the boy child. Let us start from the boy child. The system that tends to favor the boy child more than the girl child, right from when they were just born. In fact, it looks as though even from the womb, you know, sometimes, you know, one of our big colleagues will say that in Ghana, when a woman gives birth to a boy, they say she has given birth to a child. You know, but when she gives birth to a girl, nobody says anything.
Not even only in Ghana, even in some parts of Nigeria. You see, say she now has a child. And you know, this one, for us who are married, you know, when you have a son, they say, in fact, your leg is now strong in your husband's house. Whatever that means, I don't know. You know, so, but you see, these are the system that fosters all those things. It starts from that time. So the boy is feeling entitled. And then he goes, and the society, of course, has told him he's entitled. So when he gets into the workplace, it continues. So it's something we need to dismantle. Even from the home.
Even from the home, where a woman feels her because it's a boy, you know, and all. You know, I had the first taste of patriarchy when my father died. I was almost 18 years old. My brother was not even up to 16. And we were to go, and of course, we were young to bury our father, so they were burying our father for us. But of course, we needed to say things. And I had prepared speech as per Adana, our first daughter. I was to talk, and they said no. That was my first taste of patriarchy, and I cursed patriarchy on that day. And they said I couldn't talk. They said my brother has to be the one to talk. I said, why? My mom was in the room in the village, and they said, because I have never had taste of patriarchy. Because my father didn't teach me patriarchy. My father made us look as though everybody was equal. So now he's gone, and they're telling me, you cannot read the speech. That is your brother. In fact, doors to doors, they called my brother after my mother. I was leave, and that was the day, you know, I caused patriarchy in my heart. I said, what is this? I said, whatever is this, I'm going to challenge the status quo.
Wow.
All right, now from what you said now, we've seen that the law, there's the law and then there's social norms. Now, the law states that everyone should be protected irrespective of their gender, woman or man. They should be given equal protection and equal rights. But now there's this social norms that is specific to a particular tradition, culture, religion, or whatever. Now, for example, like what you said, the woman is told not to talk. Because why are you talking when men are talking? Or in terms of inheritance rights, they tell you that because you're the girl child, you're not supposed to inherit anything. It's only the men that will inherit whatever your father left. That's for some, like I said, for specific to some traditions and all. Now, you found out that the law most time and these social norms, they're poles apart. They're just different from each other. Now, is Nigeria and Africa and Nigeria being the focal point, are they ready to ensure, to give women that emancipation for their rights?
Well, I don't even want to answer for them whether they are ready. The truth is that the women are ready to take what belongs to them. See, power is not given, power is taken. You don't wait for people to give you power. Say, okay, I'm waiting. It's just like now we are trying to say, okay, women should come out, become president and all. We can't be, it's not, do you think the men will wake up or they will now say, okay, please, Annabelle, come and be our president? No, you take it. And you take it means that you are advocating, you're fighting, you know, and all. I'm not saying fighting with, of course, we're not fighting with sword. With our words, with our actions, with the things we're doing, with the things we're saying. Is it consistent?
With our numbers,
yes, with our numbers. Are we coming out? Are women coming out? Are we giving, we choose to challenge. Some women today will choose to challenge in their homes. They will say, come out, let's protest, let's do a peaceful march. Some will sit in their houses. And you forget that you have a girl child. You forget that there are a generation of women coming behind. If people didn't fight for us to be able to vote, you and I will not be voting up till today. If somebody didn't fight for women to drive, you and I will not be driving today. So I look at it and say, if these people decided to challenge and decided to come out to fight for some of these things, why will I sit down as though people are not coming behind? And posterity will judge us. What did your generation do? Okay,
it's quite interesting. You know, I'm just absorbing everything that you're saying. And I know that, yes, it is important. We are all equal, you know, in the eyes of the law. We are all human beings. And we have the same rights as it is. But where do we draw the line? Because we're talking about these cultural, traditional tendencies. Then we are looking at, okay, everybody has to be normal. I think there is an unwritten hierarchy in the society where somehow, because if we drive it down to the home, you still have expectations that you want men to undertake that you do not even bother to ask the woman. You know, we still have, when it comes to paying bills, I know that certain homes, you know, they share the bills and all of that. But there are certain things that you just expect. They say, are you not the man? Are you not supposed to do this? If we will still continue to have that, then where do we now draw the line with women and, you know, how far reaching, maybe I should ask you that way, should a woman's rights, how far should it get to? Or how far should it go? So, okay, you're asking in the home now. I tell people, you know, when it comes to the dynamics of marriage, depending on which side of religion you belong to, you know, you operate on what is. But again, every woman is a human being. Absolutely. And I believe that no religion will allow the downgrade or degradation of a human being. So if you see a woman, they say human rights issues are women rights. Women rights issues are human rights issues. Now, so there is no religion. In marriage dynamics, yes, okay. For me, who is a Christian, I believe in the Bible, and I believe that the man is the head of the home in this marriage. But when I'm in the office, when I'm in the society, why would you come and head me? You are my driver because you are a man. You are my head. What is that? I wrote an article like 2 years ago. I said some men, you see Nigerian men do this thing. They like to head women anywhere, random women anywhere. They will just come to the office and say, I get person like you for house. The person you get in your house is your wife. You have this one is office. So you cannot expect if your boss is a woman now, because you are a man, you think you are her head. It's impossible now. Okay. She's your head in that office. Okay, now we'll continue on this. Let's go on a quick break, and when we return, the program continues. Let's go on this quick break. We'll be right back.
Glad to have you back. If you just tuned in, this is Daybreak Africa. We're still talking about the International Women's Day as we're celebrating the silent struggle of every African woman. And we still have Irene Ogba here in the studio, who is a gender advocate. All right, now I'm going to ask you this. What is the thing that is standing or that has stood in the way of African women from rising above board, 50-50 shoulder pads high, in the midst of their fellow women, especially with women in the West? Because now you see that most of them they have this inferiority complex. They tell you that they don't want to compare themselves with other women. What exactly is the problem? Is it a cultural thing, or is it a religious thing? What exactly is it? Are we fighting against?
Okay, I will have to first of all say that it's not just in Africa, because even UN says that there are only 3 countries in the world where you have 50% women in parliament, like the men, equal 50-50 with the men. So it's not an African thing alone. It's a world thing. I mean, America is over 200 years old, and they just got for the first time a female vice president 200 years after. We're talking of United States of America. So it's not, we don't see it as just a Nigerian thing. But you see, where Nigerian own is pathetic is because our women haven't also realized that this is a battle that we can win. You know, so you have women who just feel that, let's take the status quo that way. You know, unlike our counterparts the other way. Our counterparts feel that if you go for international conferences, they feel that they must have to fight to get their rights. But some of us here feel that even you that you are fighting, they'll be like, you too do. Leave this thing now. And
do you know that I was actually talking to someone, sometimes even women are always standing against women. Now you talk about when it comes to some culture, when if someone dies, the husband dies, you see that it is even the women that will tell their fellow women, please shave her hair.
It's not
and
that
let her drink the water.
The woman that will shave the hair. Female genital mutilation, who cuts the female's genital? It's a woman, or it's women. You know, widowhood practices, wash a man's dead body and give it to a woman to drink. Who does it? It's a woman. It's women that perpetrate this. And you see, it's unfortunate because some women are enablers. And some women have also sunken into patriarchy, where they believe that there is really nothing that will be achieved. Just leave this matter as it is. In fact, some women will tell you, you are too ambitious. Why do you think you can challenge this thing? Why do you think you can aspire for this when men are aspiring for it? It will shock you that women who come out for politics, that it is our fellow women that go to tell them to step down. Please just step down and leave this thing for these men. You know, they have been doing it. Let's just leave them.
And then you find out that when men do this struggle, they're called ambitious but bold. But when women do this struggle, they tell you that no, that she can't keep the home front. She's just being bossy.
Yes, they say you're bitchy. In fact, no sorts. They give you a sort of name because they believe that why are you too ambitious? And it happens even you press people when you interview a female aspirant and a male aspirant. You ask a male aspirant, please, can you share your manifesto with us? Then the women aspirant, you ask her, so how will you be able to manage the home front with this? Isn't that that's discrimination?
What exactly can we do?
I get
so what do we do?
Okay, because that's where I was going.
Okay, what we do is this. Let's see this as a common struggle, both men and women. Okay. Then let's also go back and we are reorienting our women that we can. See, this thing is not a fight for, I want to be better than you or anything. The point is, if you have 4 children, 2 boys, 2 girls, and you choose to educate the 2 boys only, in your old age, you realize the evil you have done to yourself. Because you're not going to get equal capacity. You're not going to get full capacity of your family. So if our women come out, Nigeria will be better off for it. If I'm talking here because I went to school. So imagine if she didn't go to school, I didn't go to school. Only you people doing this. Can you do it alone? We're over 200 million. So imagine where half of your population is not contributing to the GDP, is not contributing their best. So it's something that it's a struggle, but it's a struggle we need to look at as a complete thing, as something that will benefit both the men, the women, the society, everyone in the long run. So we need everyone to come on board. Okay.
Is there any part that legislation can actually play in this struggle?
Yeah, and that is one of the key things we've always been asking. Because you see, when there are just talk, you don't have policies to back them up. You know, recently now they are having conviction on rape and so on because the VAP has been, you know, legislated in the National Assembly, and the states, most states are domesticating them now. So you have a law to prosecute someone who rapes in the states where such has been domesticated. So for legislation for women, we have the 35% affirmative action, but it's not legislated. Where they said for every government at least have 35% quota, which I actually disagree with personally, should be 50%, but let's even go with the 35. So there should be a legislation backing it that says in this document under our constitution right now, every government must have 35% you know, women in their cabinets, so that when you don't do it, we can go to court now. So we need to work on legislation. But unfortunately, how many women do we have in parliament? In the Senate, I think there are like 4 or 5 women only out of 109.
Well, how about looking at it from only recently? Do we actually have women, you know, who have proportionate education? And do we, okay, maybe I should just ask you as a question. Do you believe that as we speak right now, we have enough women, when you know, when you place them at par with men, or on par with men, who have the right skill set, who have, you know, proportionate educational level and all of that, especially in taking key positions in society as we speak? Do we have up to that? Because I know that lately or before now, women have not been very active. Parents, these traditional factors that we are looking at, where parents will rather prefer to train their male children to go to school and all that. Then maybe in the last 20 years, that trend has begun to change. Now, within those 20 years, can we say that we have actually built women capacity enough to now say that for every position that we have, we can have a man and a woman who you know have all the same set of qualifications and can compete equally? Do we have up to that?
Yes, we have. We might not have 50%, but we have women who can actually. Our Okonjo is the DG of World Trade Center. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Amina Mohammed is in what's it called? United Nations. These are our people, homegrown and then went abroad. We exported them to the world, and I can assure you that we have many more women like that. But the truth is that sometimes the enabling factor. Look at the political parties. Are they programmed in such a way that they can throw women up? And that's why I say power is not given. Power has to be taken. We need to go back and see that how do we take this power to bring out more women. Now, if Obasanjo didn't appoint Okonjo-Iweala, we wouldn't have known we wouldn't have tapped half of our brain for Nigeria. If Amina Mohammed wasn't put in cabinet that time, we wouldn't have known that this our person can actually turn situation around for us. We just export, and we have lots of them. Look at now, President Biden has appointed almost 3 or 4, 5 Nigerian women into their cabinet. So we have the women. Okay. But the system itself is suppressing us, and that's the system we need to fight to come up.
All right, now let's look at, with this heightened cases of insecurity, insurgency, kidnapping. Now we have from the Chibok girls, the Dapchi, the Jangibi. You have parents that are already saying that education, Western education, is completely over for their girl childs, and sometimes you might not even blame them because with all of these things that we've seen, there is always the multiplier effect, and it goes down to the education sector. When these things, when there's a lacuna here, you find out that these children who are supposed to be the future leaders, like the Okonjo-Iwealas, if you stop them, you truncate their education from now, there's always the multiplier effect down, and then they're falling into the crack, and which sometimes is really difficult to get out of. What can be done for these parents that are listening to us right now? What can be done to all of this?
Truth is that it's a painful situation, because I think about it as a mother, as a parent, and then also as an educationist. The little progress we have made in girl child education is being eroded, both by the pandemic and also by this insecurity. And
yet we are still tackling the out-of-school children.
Out-of-school children, which is over 11-point-something million, and about 60% are girls. Now, I'm a girl child education advocate. In fact, you know, in 2018, I was in Oxford and Cambridge, and I spoke about factors militating against girl child education, and one of them was insecurity. That time it was the Chibok girls. We didn't even know every day. And one man from Vietnam told me that if he's in Nigeria, his daughter will never go to school again. Oh, wow. He would rather have a daughter that is an illiterate or he's homeschooled than a daughter that is missing, and every day he's tormenting himself whether he will come back, whether she will come back. So, but you see, the major challenge lies in the security situation, which we appeal to the government. that government needs to look into the security situation. But beyond the government is also the fact that I told somebody, I told them in one other program that these schools are in an area, in a location, in a community. Let the communities also watch out. When you see unscrupulous elements and so on, you watch out for those unscrupulous elements and say, okay, I don't want, please go and report to the nearest police station, nearest this. And I know that every neighborhood has neighborhood watch. You watch out for them because these are our children. If they are kidnapped, it is us that will lose the greatest. Exactly. You know, so I want to appeal to those parents. They shouldn't see it as something. For some comfort, they can decide to change their children's school to somewhere closer home, you know, where, you know, the child goes and comes back, but let the child still be learning.
Okay. Now, I want to ask, as you know, we begin to approach the end of this conversation. What should be the ideal standard for, you know, a 21st century woman or young lady right now? What should they be doing differently that will ensure that women's position, I know you've mentioned a few, we have to talk, but the truth of the matter is there are a lot of persons who are still product of homes, you know, where all these realities prevail. So what should they do in participating in this struggle so that law and order is still maintained, so that, you know, the friendliness and neighborliness with, you know, their male counterparts are still on par, this personal respect is still maintained? You know, what should they be, what should young women and men be doing right now? What should men be doing? Men should be respecting women. Respect a woman. When a woman says no, no means no. I keep saying it. You know, when a woman says no, just know that she meant that no the first time. Respect women. Then women themselves, you know, let's carry ourselves with some form of dignity. Okay. You know, I brought the picture of, there's this picture trending on the internet over the weekend where Ibukwa Wushika, Bello, Mona Bello, the 4 power women that are in banking industry. And I showed it to my daughters. I said, you can be this and be beyond this. You know, so let's show our girl children that more of such pictures and portray them. It's good to slay. I tell them, you know, I have a program coming up on Sunday for young girls. And I say it's good to slay, but beyond slaying, slay with your brain. Exactly. Slay physically, but you see this one is the most important. Slay. All right, thank you so much for your time. Slay with your brain. That's the word for me. That's exactly the word. Slay with your brain. I'm going with that. All right, we've been talking to Irene Uba, who is a gender advocate, and it's been a very wonderful time here in the studio. We would like to say on behalf of every Captain crew and cast here in the studio, happy International Mother's Day. We'll see you again tomorrow. I am Annabelle Oji. I am Olumenga George. Thank you for staying with us. I'll see you tomorrow.